It's like trying to complete a puzzle with missing pieces, and it's not just a piece, it's the most fundamental piece that shapes our morality. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jun. I talk all about veganism, the ethics, the environment, public health, and our food system. And today I'm going to talk about the core value of veganism as an ethical philosophy. I'm going to dismantle the idea or impression that veganism is all about animals, saving the animals, and loving the animals. And hopefully help you gain a new perspective on veganism in terms of social justice. Let's get right in. So, according to the Vegan Society, the definition of veganism is, it is a philosophy and way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose, and by extension, promotes the development and use of animal-free alternatives for the benefit of animals, humans, and the environment. So this is the very typical definition of veganism, and it is to many vegans. Vegans, of course, are dreaming of a world where no animals are exploited and murdered for unnecessary reasons. A world without slaughterhouses. People know that veganism is not a diet but philosophy against all animal cruelty. While that is true, I believe that simply a lifestyle or practice of abstaining from all animal products isn't what veganism is all about, and there's much more to be discussed because that is not the goal. That should just be a consequence. Let me explain. In today's society, people in many places are standing up against social injustices such as civil rights issues and oppression of multiculturalism including race, gender and sexuality, sexism and all that, and we're leveling up as a society in terms of how we treat each other. But when we talk about injustice, inequality or peace, we don't really think about the underlying issue here. There is some missing piece, which is how we as a species view life. If we want to build a perfect, peaceful and ethical world, we all have to be compassionate and humane. Now imagine, would a truly compassionate person discriminate against people of color, of certain ethnicity, sex, or gender? No. Would a compassionate and humane person hurt or take someone's life away from them for unnecessary reasons? No. Would a humane person purposefully step on an ant? If our children did that, surely we would be concerned. Would a compassionate and humane person standing on a field choose to kill an animal and eat them when there's an abundance of vegetables and fruits to eat? Veganism is directly tied to the term speciesism, which is the root cause of all harmful isms. Through our consumption, we have been taught and conditioned to value lives differently. So the mindset that allows us to exploit or discriminate against others has always been part of us. Veganism takes a stance against it, and being vegan is all about respecting the basic fundamental right of all sentient beings, regardless of what bodies they were born into, which group they belong to, what sex they are, and how intelligent they are. We're already educated not to punch someone or abuse an animal at a young age, but there is this hiatus or disconnection when it comes to those specific animal species that we consume. And this is how the society got veganism sort of confused and mixed up with things like vegetarianism, while its core value is something most people have within themselves. So if you only eat plants and are racist, you're not vegan, you're just plant-based. If you try to be the best person, the best existence you could ever be, you could never morally justify any of those aforementioned things, including consuming non-human animals for unnecessary reasons in a developed country. Therefore, standing up against discrimination among humans while valuing some lives less than us because of their groups, appearance, abilities, or intelligence, and teaching our children to do so is like trying to complete a puzzle with missing pieces, and it's not just a piece, it's the most fundamental piece that shapes our morality. How we treat other humans stems from how we view and treat the lives of non-human animals, especially at a young age. Veganism is a movement for justice, equality, and compassion, so I hope you now see how this is related to our social justice movement. You might say, if any animal rights activists are watching, that I'm saying the same thing as All Lives Matter during the Black Lives Matter movement, but I'm certainly not diminishing our focus on animal rights, but rather explaining why it's so important to the general public even if they didn't care about animals. Not consuming animals in developed countries is the bare minimum. It's certainly not the only and the most impactful thing you can do to help people today, but it's the least we can do in order to make the world a better place. A world with harmony and without unnecessary fear, suffering, suffering and deaths, and it should come naturally to us as a consequence. Speaking of climate change, eating a plant-based diet as a result of going vegan is actually one of the biggest things we can do today for climate justice, which is a serious human rights issue. But in terms of ethics, I'm talking more about the long-term progress of human society, but you can start today. Imagine a nation of vegans, where vegans aren't called vegans anymore, and where every child is told not to value one's life more than another's, but rather respect the basic fundamental right of every sentient being to live freely and equally. What would the world look like? Would it look different from the world we live in today? It is time to rethink and repicture veganism, reflect on our actions and how we view life in general. And it is time to align our actions with our core values. I believe that getting rid of the notion of human supremacy will result in the reduction or absence of every other supremacy and discrimination. Now, different cultures all around the world view those objective discriminations and supremacies differently. Culture and tradition doesn't justify those practices. This is why education is the key. Being vegan, at least in developed countries, should be the default in today's society, and it will be in the future. If you found this video insightful and inspiring, please share with others and help spread the message and awareness. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.